Hello again, people who like speedruns. This is Vacuum Chamber percent glitchless. Compared to my 37-minute run, this is a new route. Once again, this is Vacuum Chamber percent, which is early access of the game before Crush Depths comes out in a couple days. So got one last good run in before new content drops. If you watch my previous runs, this is nothing new. If you speedrun the game at all, this is nothing new. If you start multiple new save games just to play casually, this is nothing new. You know, you go through this tutorial cafeteria before time starts. Random little fact people may not notice, time doesn't actually start until you open the door and the peccary shows up. The trigger activates from the other side too, so if you glitch out of bounds and get too close to Dr. Jaeger, then time starts in your game. But until then, it's frozen at 7 a.m., which is very nice for the glitched route. First spot of weird RNG. It's possible, though rare, to get 3 pipes from each of these, which is a total of 12. You have to pick up 1 more pipe along the way. In this case, I'm blowing up chairs for the extra scrap metal. And then the first one also gives me an extra cloth, so sometimes screws can be precious. It's a little bit of a bad luck deterrent. Same with these desks. I want 5 wood from them. Ideally, I only kill 2 of them and get exactly 5. But sometimes you gotta break all 3 because you get 2, 2, and 2, or whatever. In this case, one of the pieces of wood went missing. Small break back there just to organize my inventory for what's comfortable for my hands. Tech scraps are surprisingly precious on this run. I think I get exactly the number I need. There's one by the first vent you're supposed to crawl through that's not always there, and I actually had a run die because I didn't get that tech scrap and realized I was 1 short too late. You might also be thinking, I don't do a lot of combat in this game, why would I need the health syringe and the bandages? Well, sometimes stuff bonks you and gets a bleed, especially on first hit for some reason. I feel like that's a deliberate design choice. Also, the syringe, having just 1 of them on hand, since I have the inventory space to spare for it on this run, makes a big difference on the turrets, because sometimes you get through with just a sliver of health left, and then you can't do Tarosk because he's going to hit you once to wake him up, and if you don't let him hit you once, he doesn't get stuck on the bridge. And you'll see that later, that actually happens. The health syringe literally saves the run. Just in case there's some combat, I like to swap out the leg there so it doesn't break on me after like 2 peccaries through bad luck. Very grateful I got that couch, because if you destroy even one of the couches blocking that door, that peccary in the locker room, if he happens to be there, will catch you. This is cool. This is applying the double weapon thing also works on buildables, so there you go. That was saved about 2 seconds of just holding down the button. And all that is you click to do the screwdriver, switch to something else, and then switch back to the screwdriver real fast right after you click. It's a very simple kind of motion. You just have to wait long enough for the screwdriver to pop back out. This peccary here cost me a little bit of time. Small optimization when you get the pest stuck in your vacuum. If you can shoot it at something you want to break, it does damage to it, so it takes less time to break it or vacuum it up. Had ridiculously bad luck with peccaries on this. There was one in the locker room, the one I just had to fight, and then you heard another one stomping around out there. You see, he's all mad. I'm pretty sure I get away from that one, which is nice. I didn't have to deal with him. I probably would have restarted if I had a second peccary fight, because at that point, that's like a 20-second time loss when I'm already trying to shave precious seconds off the run. Even though I've done this so much, navigating in the dark can be confusing sometimes. The reason I swing this far out is this spot right here. There can sometimes be a gaseous nest. And that's a small time save because gaseous nests weigh 4 pounds. And that's just enough towards the end of the manufacturing loop to put you in yellow for weight, which slows you down. And, you know, it's a speedrun. I want to go fast. Get a little sassed by the vending machine here. So, initial builds of running this, I made 3 bricks. One for a thermal mallet, one for a battery, and one for a jump pad. Then I was doing 4 with the intent of making 2 jump pads. And as the run got faster, I realized I didn't need to make the battery because I could get everything done before the night hit. So that was the goal here, is just take the chance, not have the battery. Some of the inventory management is worth it here, like bringing just the 6 case fans, because otherwise I drop them at the wrong time and I still have to split them up later to bring the 3 to the end. This is me realizing I did not make my tripwire mine, deciding what to do. Do I rebuild the table or do I just make it at the next stop? I opted to make it to the next stop, but I had to grab 3 tech scraps to do that. So that's what that momentary hesitation there is. Swing wide if you do this jump. That wall has a weird big hitbox. That was me double checking that I had the right materials to make the tripwire mine. Otherwise I would have reset right there. Being in this hallway before 7 minutes feels really good. I consider that a run worth doing. If I'm over 7 minutes by there, that means I've already lost 30 seconds. And that's how much I've been grinding this, that I'm looking at something like, if I've lost 30 seconds, guess the run's dead. Had a little bit of a pickle here. And then got it. That's another spot that sometimes I just have a, well, guess the run's dead. It's still somewhat finicky, but as you saw, not enough to kill the run. This is still a up sub 30 to the vacuum chamber. You might think, if you struggle to place this sometimes, why even do it? Well, it's because you're getting stamina back from doing it this way instead of sprinting over to the the ladder instead. So I still think it's worth it even if you're a little clumsy about it. So routing gets a little goofy here because you can vacuum up a bunch of these boxes on the way and try to get a bunch of extra screws, which is very possible. I have left this area with like 40 screws, which meant I could use the tripwire mine on every robot after this. After the first one I kill in manufacturing. So killing the one in manufacturing a second time, and then the one in the lobby. But you also lose a lot of time deviating for those boxes, vacuuming them up, getting encumbered because your weight's going to be pretty close to going into yellow at that point. So I think it's going to, if anyone else does this route, it's going to be more of a personal preference thing than what's truly optimal. Like, whatever you can do fastest is going to be the way to go. That's me realizing I brought both my energy bricks with me. I got a little confused and didn't do my standard organization and just say heck with it and run. So that was the 2, like, big mistakes, which really weren't big. I didn't make the tripwire mine when I was supposed to, which cost me a few seconds. And brought the energy bricks with me, which thankfully didn't hurt anything. If they ever patch out stabbing the robots like that, I'm gonna be sad. Realized I could leave the tripwire mine there, because I come back and kill the robot a second time. Small crafting optimization to make the rope bridge here, and I learned you can actually put put it up without aggroing this guy, which is a big deal because he sometimes causes some weird chain aggro, where the next order soldier I actually kill chain aggro's off of him somehow, and then he chain aggro's the sniper, and that chain aggro's the guys upstairs, and then you're being shot at by a sniper. You go into the next room, and you're being shot at while you're gathering from the guy up on the railing, and it's just a whole big mess that starts with that idiot. So I'll take the extra, like, second time loss to just keep him oblivious to the fact that I just went down a rope right in front of him. Now, the big condition for this run comes from the 3 soldiers that are killed. You want to get a total of 3 extra military electronics to be able to do the double jump from office sector to defense sector. And you'll see that later. That's the big new thing in the route. And it skips train, synchrotron. That's why this can go so fast compared to the 37-minute one that I did previously. It's a whole new route, and I love it, because the jumps are fun. So that's the use of the weapon swap, where you swing with a fast weapon, switch to a heavy weapon, switch back. This guy made it for me. Military tech, radio pack. Radio pack breaks down into 2. That's why I didn't equip it. Not that this run is particularly demanding on a battery, thankfully. There's plenty of opportunity to quick charge the hammer, which only takes like 5 seconds to charge from empty. So if you can drop it off while doing other things, it gets filled pretty quick. This little spot by the crane is terrible. The sniper can sometimes still be aggroed on you. Didn't mean to... Yeah, see, he's shooting at me there, and I got stuck. And if I was recording this, if I was recording my own voice while playing this, you would have heard me squeak from that shot being fired. So that's usually the 8th stapler. The run has actually been very consistent about that. Double checking what my counts are. So I know I need 2 more military tech. Or why do I always call it military tech? Military electronics. So this is just the normal route. This would be 6 normally, and then this one would be 7, and then the 8th one is past the blacksmith. That's the absolute, if you just want to finish the run, that is your backup military electronics. Good if you're doing like a live show or something like that. At this point, I don't need to gather anything else, so I'm just making sure I can make my jumps down without breaking an ankle. This guy aggroes me at the last second and is just a complete jerk. XORs have a really frustrating tendency to teleport and chase you, and they can go really far to do that. So that's why I took the time to kill him, because I don't know what's going to be ahead here at this point. This inventory management is because I'm out of stamina, and I want to make sure I sprint to clear that gap. Took a big hit there that wasn't ideal, but thankfully the death warp's coming up, so, you know, as long as you don't die down here. I was looking ahead and thinking, oh gosh, I gotta go through a peccary and 2 more pests to get that, and then lo and behold, one right around the corner for me. Stay down. Now you see, right here, I'm that 4 pounds over because of that second gaseous nest. If I had gotten it in the office sector, I would have made this a little less inventory management tedious.
Where'd you come from?
Pretty much give up on inventory management at that point. So I just look for the screw count. Anything above 16 there is fine. A couple extra past 16 is ideal, so you can make a mistake. It's usually something janky like the robot. Got 2 more robots to kill with the mallet, and of course an XOR in labs at bare minimum. It's very, very rare he's not there. In fact, so far on this route, he's been consistently there, which is frustrating. This is the big build section. Get all the screws put together. Make the reinforced hoses, make all the bridges, the ramp, and the jump pads that are going to be used to clear off this sector here shortly. Always make sure you have at least 3 scrap metal at this stage, because you're going to need that for 2 lab burners and the anti-thermite bomb. Since I happen to bring the energy bricks with me, I just made the jump pads here. But normally, that would be something I would do at the next phase on the death warp back to office sector. Not doing the battery probably saved about 10 seconds just by itself. Screws go on the bar. So I have them already stocked up. That's because there's a robot coming up here I gotta kill, so I need to load a screw to break it out of its charger. And then the next one back in the lobby. Weirdly convenient that the route through manufacturing to start with the robot kill, and then even if you go through it really fast, you go back, you do all your crafting, you come again, and the robot's back on the way out to visit the blacksmith. Oh, the number of runs I've lost to just loot flying off into who knows where. Then there's this jerk. See, this is what I mean about XORs chasing you. I don't even know how he aggroed me, because he's in that locked office. Contrary to what it looked like, the XOR did not kill me. That was a unstick death. He does not get the satisfaction. You can set your bed up by the button here if you want. It ends up being about the same amount of time compared to death warping to cafeteria. I can't believe that little guy followed me out there. That was crazy. So whatever your preference is, I don't think it's really enough of a deal breaker at this point, considering the amount of RNG that still has to be overcome to get a fast run. Like, you still need to be able to get the 2 jump pads to save 40 seconds, which is a little frustrating, but it's actually been much more consistent than I originally thought. The route I take through manufacturing covers the 7 military electronics, with the backup past the blacksmith for the last one. And then you're gambling on military electronics from the 3 soldiers you kill, but you have backup options, like when you get, let's see, what room would that be? The top right corner where the gate is, you could go kill the 2 military guys in the room right at the entrance that you would probably normally find on a casual playthrough. And one of them is a captain. The captain has the chance to drop the radio pack, and radio packs, as you saw, break down into 2. So that gives you pretty good odds to just practice the run, even if you're not getting the best RNG. There's just enough backup that I feel like the run probably won't just straight up die until you get to the point that you're literally trying to get like a sub 30 time. Then you need things to go the right way. Weirdly enough, even though I had the bag space, I did equip the hacker because it removes that weight from your inventory. And you'll see here as I put down the bridge, it's just enough to put me back in the blue, which is much more comfortable to make these jumps. Doing these jumps with yellow encumbrance is questionable, and pink encumbrance would just be like, no, you're going to fall to your death. I love that you can stand on that. So yeah, here's the first jump to get you over to the ramp itself. You're going to crouch, roll, and uncrouch, so the bounce pad will actually bounce you. And there you go, you're over here. And that was 2 bridges, a ramp, and a jump pad. This is me just pressing wrong buttons. I'm not sure why I was crouched there. And then I didn't get a jump. And similar setup here. A bridge lets you get up on that shelf. 2 bridges gets you just far enough to set this up. And then you need 1 more bridge. And this is the fun part. Watch this. Boom. You catch yourself with a bridge. And then make sure you have a bridge with you. You can just recollect that one like I did, because you're going to want that to bug out the Tarosk and get him to sit nicely and take his lumps. This pipe is so weird. You have to be back from it. Jump, then crouch going towards it. If you try to be right in its face, it's too short. You won't get a jump. On this part, I used to go get the antiverse gems and the carbon first, but I've been finding doing the robot first has been more comfortable, because something about the way the enemies patrol in here, the sooner you get in this room, the less likely you are to get the green Exor and the Peccary that are up in the labs, up to the top right where that elevator is. Just double checking that I was still in fact hitting the robot. I keep a rhythm here instead of just bursting at him to make sure he's getting hit, and also to keep him in stun lock. That robot can actually sprint, so you don't want him to get out of position, especially because he needs to go around the ramp, which can put him in a weird spot. And then your trip mines aren't hitting him. Yeah, he missed. Usually that guy gets flustered at the door and tries to kick it open. That time he ran away, so I was trying to kick before he did, and he's just like, nah, I'm out. Which was great. Sometimes my fingers forget what they need to do, so I'm just sitting there holding the screwdriver button down in confusion. I got here once and did not have the case fans because I forgot I needed to split them, so I just dropped them after I made Hacker 2. That was heartbreaking because it was on this pace. I was at about 23 minutes. It was the run right before this one, actually. I said to myself, well, lesson learned. Just do the case fan split right at the beginning, so I don't screw up and drop them early or get weighed down by them trying to do the jump, because once you're up to like 17 case fans, those things do put quite a bit of weight on the bag when you're trying to save every pound you can. A little bit of inventory management here, deciding what I need to sell, what I need to take with me. Wanted to double check I had actually slept in the bed, because this run was on a really good pace, and I was definitely getting nervous by this point. Like, oh, I hope I don't do something stupid. Because there's still the dreaded turret run, which can unfortunately just kill you. deliberately paused there for a moment just to give the door that extra half a second it needs to get up high enough to roll under. So stamina management is interesting here. You may as well just use up your stamina as much as you can, because once you get to this jump section, because jumping uses stamina but doesn't penalize you to jump without stamina. Like, see, I'm just out of stamina for the rest of this jump. At least I don't think there's a penalty. I wonder if there is some kind of mechanic I've never noticed. If there is a penalty, it's not significant enough to notice. Then you have a ginger stroll here, because you want to get some stamina back to do this. So if you look down at your own legs, you can actually wiggle pretty close. And even with that, one hit away from death. It's fine, I'll just take some painkillers and tough it out like a champ. Like I said, that one syringe, because I was able to carry it with me from the very start of the game, came in clutch here. Because that was definitely one-hit death from Tarosk. And if you've seen my how-to video, you know how this Tarosk fight's going to pan out. As I'll always say, it's very important to give him a love tap on the butt there, and then run, because he'll do his slam, and then when you get far enough away, he'll start walking, and you need him to be in his walking animation specifically to get stuck here. Again, I go a little slow here with a rhythm to get him to knock down. That seems to be more effective than just blasting him full power. I feel like something happens where some of the hits aren't counting, but I use a lot more screws to knock him over by just going ham on it compared to the rhythm, and screws were already pretty tight at that point. I didn't want to run out and then have to go and try and melee him and hope I can get that last little bit of damage before he stands up. So nighttime takes about 28 minutes once you unlock the front door and poor Dr. Jaeger dies. So looking at the clock, I know I'm in good shape because it takes about 2.5 minutes to get the door open. Ideally a little bit less, more like 2 minutes 15 seconds. So I'm not worried about nighttime hitting until sometime after 29 minutes. And I say that because I don't have a battery, so if I lose power just before I can craft the anti-thermite bomb, the run just added 4.5 minutes to the time waiting for night to end.
Perhaps I'm getting a little too endothermic.
So that route, that slightly higher platform, and then up here, that's a really clean way to get up here. It is possible to go to the middle platform and then all the way up, but it's grossly inconsistent. Since I still have some sprint juice for this stretch here, I just used it up. It's a moment like this, I miss my cot, but bringing the cot for that extra 7 pounds, 7 to 10 pounds, just isn't worth it for that one little spot, because it's going to slow me down too much in other areas by making me encumbered. Would have been nice to have grabbed a slushy bomb for this guy, but since I'm going to die in his face anyway, it actually doesn't matter.
Power services for today will be stopping
Okay, there's the 1 hour remaining warning, which is 2 minutes. So it just made the timer for daytime power. So as far as in-game lore goes, this run, from the start of the disaster to getting through the vacuum chamber, took 14 hours. So not only is this an incredibly fast run to get through vacuum chamber percent, it also canonically means your dude's like frickin' MacGyver. MacGyver. this chamber is very interesting in the dark. It is pitch black. You see a little glimpse of green right there if you're running in the right direction, so you really need to know where you're going or you're going to get lost in there. There it is, 29:45.
Be grateful.
Got my chef's hat, which, as I said in past, is one less hit to carve the Tarosk, so it doesn't gain any time, but I get to wear a chef's hat so you can say, let him cook.
But the way is blocked. For now.
And then go have a look at the amount of time the world has been active. And there you are. Vacuum chamber percent, Abiotic Factor early access. Thanks for watching.